Imagine a silent, kind of enigmatic visitor, not from around here, not from our cosmic backyard, but from the deepest, darkest corners of interstellar space.
Mhm.
And it's rocketing right through our solar system. Now, this isn't just any old space rock. What if? What if this thing was something else entirely? Something, I don't know, far more intriguing, something that makes you question, well, pretty much everything. Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're taking a really close look at an object that's really sparked a huge debate. 3i ATLAS. Is it just a natural comet? You know, an icy snowball fling out from another star system ages ago? Or, and this is where it gets really interesting, could it be something, well, something artificial? We've gathered a whole stack of sources for this deep dive. Everything from, hard scientific papers to some really fascinating speculation from some pretty respected scientists. Our mission today is to unpack all the key bits of information for you, basically give you the shortcut to understanding what's going on. We'll look at how it was found, dig into the arguments for it being natural and potentially artificial, and then see where most scientists actually land on this. So yeah, get ready for some surprising details, maybe a few moments that shift your perspective, and definitely a good cosmic mystery. Okay, let's dive in. This story, 3i ATLS. It all starts with the detection, right? How do we even find this thing? Can you set the scene for us?
Right. So the first time we spotted 3i ATLAS was July 1st, 2025. And that was thanks to the ATS telescope network, the one down in Chile.
ATLS, what does that stand for again?
Yeah, it's the Asteroid Terrestrial Impact Last Alert System. Basically, its job is to scan the sky, constantly looking for things like near-Earth objects, asteroids,
Okay.
other, transient events, things that pop up. It's not just a casual look, it's systematic.
Mm.
And the name itself, 3i ATLAS, tells you something important, the 3i part. That means it's only the third confirmed interstellar object we've ever found.
Wow, only the third.
Exactly. Just that fact alone shows you how big a deal this was, how rare these kinds of detections really are.
The third one ever. That really does put it in perspective. So for everyone listening, what makes 3i Atlas so special, apart from just being number 3? What did astronomers immediately think when they saw it?
Well, the immediate significance is definitely its origin, where it came from. Before this, we only knew about two others, right? Oumuamua back in 2017.
Which was super weird in its own right.
Yeah, totally. That really opened our eyes. And then there was 2i Borisov in 2019. So finding a third one, and relatively soon after Borisov, just a few years later, that's incredibly noteworthy.
Right.
It suggests maybe these interstellar wanderers are, maybe more common than we initially thought. Each one is basically like a cosmic time capsule. It's carrying material that formed around a completely different star. So it gives us this fleeting, really precious chance to study the building blocks of other solar systems, like finding a message in a bottle, but, one that traveled light years.
That's a great way to put it. A message in a bottle from another star system. So, okay, it's from far away.
Yeah.
What's its actual journey like now that it's zipping through our neighborhood? Give us a sense of its path, its speed. It must be moving fast.
Oh, incredibly fast.
Yeah.
A real cosmic speed demon. 3i Atlas is currently moving at something like 130,000 miles per hour. Yeah, about 210,000 kilometers per hour. That's way, way faster than anything that's gravitationally tied to our sun would normally travel at that distance. And crucially, its path is what astronomers call a hyperbolic trajectory.
Hyperbolic, meaning?
Meaning it's not in orbit around our sun like planets or regular comets, which follow elliptical paths. A hyperbolic path means it has so much energy, so much speed, that our sun's gravity can't capture it.
Oh, okay.
It's just passing through. It'll swing around the sun and then head right back out into interstellar space. A one-way ticket, never coming back.
Got it.
Its closest approach to Earth, that's expected sometime between October and December 2025. But it'll still be pretty far out, about 270 million kilometers away.
Blech.
So no danger to us, just a really fast flyby.
Okay, so a rare visitor moving incredibly fast from another star, just passing through. That's already amazing. But this is where the story takes that really mind-bending turn you mentioned. There's this provocative idea out there, picking up steam in some circles, that 3i ATLAS might not be natural, that it could be engineered. Tell us about that speculation.
Right, this is where things get, let's say, controversial. The idea comes very prominently from Avi Loeb, the Harvard astrophysicist.
Ah, yes, Loaf. And he talked about Oumuamua, too, didn't he?
Exactly.
Yeah.
He's made similar suggestions before. He's basically arguing that 3i Atlas, much like Oumuamua, might actually be an artificial object, maybe some kind of alien probe. And look, he's not just, pulling this out of thin air. His reasoning comes from specific things observed about 3i Atlas, characteristics that he believes are hard to explain if it's just a natural comet. He argues that, especially early on, its behavior just didn't quite fit the standard cometary model.
That is quite a claim, an alien probe.
Yeah.
So what are these specific things, these anomalies that make someone like Avi Loeb even suggest that? What makes it different from a normal comet?
Loeb focuses on three main points that, for him, kind of challenge the natural explanation, makes him lean towards something artificial. First, there's what he calls the unusual trajectory. He points out that its path is remarkably close to the ecliptic plane of our solar system. That's basically the flat disk where all the planets orbit.
Right, the main highway.
Exactly.
Mm.
Now, for a natural object coming from interstellar space, you'd expect it to arrive from a random direction, right? Coming at some weird angle. Loeb argues that this alignment with the ecliptic is statistically really improbable, almost too convenient, like it was aimed, maybe.
Interesting point.
Okay.
Okay, what else?
Second, and this was a big one initially, was the lack of a visible tail.
Ah, yeah, comets usually have tails, right?
They do. We think of them as dirty snowballs. As they get closer to the sun, the heat vaporizes the ice, turns it straight into gas, a process called sublimation. That gas, along with dust, creates the fuzzy cloud around the nucleus, the coma, and often that long glowing tail streaming away from the sun.
Okay.
But for a good while after it was detected, 3I Atlas just didn't seem to have one, or at least not a significant one. And according to Loeb, that made it fundamentally different from a typical icy comet. Where was the outgassing?
No tail. Okay, that does sound strange. What's the third point?
The third thing he highlighted was an unexplained brightness. The object seemed brighter than you'd expect just from reflected sunlight, almost like it was emitting some of its own light.
Emitting its own light. How?
Well, that's the question. Natural comets mostly just reflect sunlight. If this thing was actually glowing on its own, that raises serious questions about what it's made of, or maybe some internal process.
Yeah.
Or, in Loeb's view, maybe even an onboard power source. So these three things together, the trajectory, the missing tail early on, the weird brightness for Loeb, they started to paint a picture that wasn't just a rock or a snowball.
So putting those pieces together, the path, the lack of tail initially, the glow, what's the really bold conclusion Loeb draws from this?
His conclusion is that maybe these aren't just oddities of a weird comet. Maybe they're actually signatures of, extraterrestrial technology. He suggests it could be an artificial object, perhaps, a probe sent specifically to check out our solar system. He's a strong proponent of the idea that life, even advanced life, is likely common in the universe. So when something this unusual shows up, he argues we shouldn't immediately dismiss the most intriguing possibilities, like alien tech. Kind of a challenge, really, saying, look, don't just default to the easy explanation if the data seems off.
That's definitely a compelling idea. Provocative, for sure. Sparks the imagination, makes you wonder, what if?
Yeah.
But, okay, while that idea, the alien probe, gets a lot of headlines, what's the wider scientific view? What do most astronomers think is going on with 3I Atlas when they look at the same data?
You're right, it is captivating.
Yeah.
But, in science, extraordinary claims need extraordinary evidence. And the majority of astronomers, while they find the object fascinating and acknowledge Loeb's points, they largely disagree with the alien hypothesis.
Right.
Their perspective is really grounded in looking for the simplest explanation that fits all the available data. And importantly, that data keeps coming in. It evolves as we watch. They tend to look for explanations based on known physics, known behaviors of natural objects, even if they're rare interstellar ones.
Right, Occam's razor kind of thing.
Sort of, yeah. What's the most probable explanation given everything we now know?
So what is that evidence? What observations have come in since those initial ones that strongly suggest 3 Alloas actually is a natural object, even if it's from another star?
Well, this is where continued observation has been absolutely key. Despite those initial reports, especially about the tail, as 3I Atlas has traveled closer to the sun, and as our telescopes have gotten better looks at it over time, it has in fact started to show more typical cometary behavior.
Ah, okay, so it did develop a tail.
Yes. Critically, it does now show a coma, that fuzzy cloud of gas and dust around the nucleus, and it has developed a tail. This directly addresses that earlier point about the lack of tail, which was, a major pillar for the artificial idea. The tail might have been faint at first, or maybe developed slowly, but it's definitely there now. Observations confirm it.
That seems pretty significant. What else?
Furthermore, and this is really strong evidence, we've done extensive spectroscopic analysis.
Spectroscopy, breaking down the light.
Exactly. You spread the light from the object into its different colors, like a rainbow, but much more detailed. And different chemicals absorb or emit light at specific wavelengths, creating a unique fingerprint.
Gotcha. And what did that show?
It detected water vapor. H2O.
Water, like a normal comet.
Precisely. Water ice is a primary component of comets in our own solar system. Finding water vapor strongly suggests this object is releasing water as it warms up, just like we'd expect from an icy comet. So the presence of water vapor plus the clear development of a coma and a tail, that provides really solid empirical evidence that points towards being a natural cometary body.
So those early kind of weird characteristics, the missing tail, the brightness, they're now mostly explained.
Largely, yes. As it got closer to the sun, the outgassing increased, forming the coma and tail we now see. The brightness might have been due to reflective ice patches, or maybe sudden outbursts of gas and dust that weren't caught initially. The more complete data set we have now really points towards 3ILS being a natural object. An interstellar comet, yes, which is amazing in itself, but a comet nonetheless.
It really shows how science works, doesn't it? Initial observations might be confusing, even misleading, but as you gather more data, the picture becomes clearer.
Absolutely. It's all about hypothesis, observation, gathering more evidence, and refining your understanding. When new data comes in, sometimes the initial, more sensational ideas have to be revised. In this case, the later observations really filled in the picture. It's still incredibly special because it's interstellar, but its behavior now fits overwhelmingly with what we know about comets. The science points away from artificial and towards natural.
Okay, so here we are. We've got these two quite different viewpoints. On one side, the really exciting, maybe slightly sci-fi idea of an alien probe. On the other, the evolving scientific evidence pointing strongly towards a natural, albeit very interesting, comet. What's the big takeaway here for us, trying to make sense of it all? What does this whole debate about 3I Atlas teach us?
I think what 3I Atlas really does is force us to think about how we approach the unknown. This is a great lesson in maybe scientific humility,
Yeah.
and definitely about the need to keep observing, keep gathering data, even when an early, exciting story seems really compelling.
Right, don't jump to conclusions too fast.
Exactly. Extraordinary claims really do need extraordinary evidence. And that evidence builds over time through careful observation and analysis. So while the alien spacecraft idea is fascinating, and it's good that scientists like Loeb push boundaries and ask those questions the current scientific view, backed by the bulk of the evidence, like the tail, the coma, the water vapor, it strongly indicates this is a natural interstellar comet.
And it also highlights that even with that consensus emerging, the object itself, because of its origins and maybe those initial oddities, stays super interesting. It keeps astronomers, and frankly all of us, talking and debating. That's really what makes exploring space so exciting, right? It constantly pushes what we know, what we think we know. The universe always seems to have another surprise up its sleeve.
Definitely. Keeps us on our toes.
So let's recap what we've learned from this deep dive into 3I Atlas. We started with its discovery spotted by the ATLS telescope, only the third interstellar object ever confirmed. We talked about its incredible speed, around 130,000 miles per hour, and its hyperbolic path just passing through, never to return. Then we got into the really provocative part. Avi Loeb's alien probe theory, based on those initial anomalies, the weird trajectory, the lack of a tail at first, the unexpected brightness. And finally, we landed back on the current scientific consensus, which, thanks to more observation time, sees a developing tail, a coma, and crucially detects water vapor through spectroscopy. All signs pointing towards a natural interstellar comet.
That's a great summary. And just to reiterate, while that alien probe idea really grabs the imagination, and it's a powerful reminder of the sheer possibilities out there, the actual evidence we have now, the more complete picture, points strongly to 3I Atlas being natural. Extraordinary, yes, because it's from another star, but likely a natural comet. It's like a postcard from deep space, reminding us just how vast and varied the galaxy really is.
Absolutely. And, even if 3I Atlas turns out to be just a comet, though an incredibly rare and fascinating one, its very existence, the fact that these things are visiting us from other stars, that reminds us of this incredible cosmic dance happening way beyond our little neighborhood. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What other amazing objects are out there, silently cruising through the void? What are they waiting to tell us when they make their brief appearance in our skies? What secrets of the universe do they hold? The search, and definitely the wonder, continues.